Do you know the full story behind the Apollo missions? How humans first reached the moon, and how we're now preparing to go back after 50 long years? Let's take a quick journey through history, from the Apollo era to the new age of the Artemis program. After more than 50 years, humans are finally going back to the moon. NASA's Artemis program is leading the way, with Artemis II scheduled to launch in early 2026. This mission will send astronauts around the moon. And if all goes well, Artemis III will land humans on the moon again in 2027. It's an incredible comeback after half a century, ever since the famous Apollo program ended back in 1972. Let's rewind to how it all began. Between 1968 and 1972, NASA launched a total of 11 crewed Apollo missions. Out of those, 6 missions actually landed on the moon, and 12 astronauts walked on its surface. The story starts with the early test missions. Apollo 7 was the first successful crewed flight, testing the spacecraft in Earth's orbit. Apollo 8 made history by becoming the first mission to orbit the moon, proving it could be done. Apollo 9 tested the lunar module and life support systems in Earth orbit. Then came Apollo 10, a full-dress rehearsal for the landing. The crew went all the way to the moon, practiced every step, but didn't land. And then came the moment that changed history. In 1969, Apollo 11 landed Neil Armstrong and Buzz Aldrin on the moon, the first humans ever to walk there. Later that same year, Apollo 12 touched down with Pete Conrad and Alan Bean, showing improved precision. Apollo 14 in 1971 carried Alan Shepard and Edgar Mitchell for detailed experiments and exploration. Apollo 15, also in 1971, introduced the first moon rover with astronauts David Scott and James Irwin. Next, Apollo 16 explored the moon's highlands in 1972 with John Young and Charles Duke. Finally, Apollo 17 closed the chapter that same year. Eugene Cernan and Harrison Schmitt stayed the longest on the surface, and Cernan became the last man to walk on the moon. Not every mission went as planned, though. Apollo 13, launched in April 1970, suffered an explosion on its way to the moon. The mission had to be aborted, but thanks to incredible teamwork, the crew, James Lovell, John Swigert, and Fred Hayes, returned safely to Earth. Their courage turned what could have been a disaster into one of NASA's most inspiring success stories. After Apollo 17, no humans set foot on the moon again, but that's finally about to change. With the Artemis missions, humanity is preparing to return, this time to stay longer, learn more, and go further than ever before. What began as a race to the moon has now become a journey toward a new future in space, one that could soon take us all the way to Mars.